This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Iain Dale.
Hello, a very good evening to you. It's 7:05 on LBC. I'm Iain Dale. Now, we're going to talk in this hour about what winning this war in Iran actually means. What is your definition of winning? Because Donald Trump's definition seems to have changed an awful lot since he first announced the action in Iran last Saturday or 10 days ago. And then it seemed to be mostly about regime change. Yes, it did mean that they wanted to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities, which we thought had happened a few months ago. It also meant destroying Iran's further military, like the Navy. And they do seem to have done that, or according to Donald Trump, they have. Anyway, they appear to have sunk 51 ships. Now, there are all sorts of other things that can be involved in the definition of a victory. But do you think that it's still about regime change? Because we've heard scant little about regime change in the last few days, have we? And I wonder whether the objectives of this mission in Iran seem to have changed. 0345 6060 973. In a sense, it's immaterial as to whether you support what Donald Trump and the Israelis have done in Iran or not. But what to you is the definition of victory? For me, I would say it is destroying the nuclear facilities. It is destroying Iran's ability to fund the likes of Hezbollah and Hamas with weapons. It would mean destroying their drone factories. It would mean destroying their ability to make ballistic missiles. But also, surely, it would mean giving the Iranians a chance to have a relatively normal existence, which they just don't have at the moment. 0345 6060 973 is the number to call. Simon Marks joins us, LBC's Washington correspondent. Simon, very good evening to you. Are you clear what the administration means by victory?
Oh, no, absolutely not, Iain, because what the administration means by the purpose of this mission, by the definition of what success looks like, changes constantly, has been throughout the last 10 and 11 days, and is often contradictory with things that they have previously indicated. But as we come on the air this evening, there is a real fear in this city now of the possibility of mission creep. Senior US officials have been briefing members of Congress up on Capitol Hill over the course of the last few hours. And Democrats particularly have emerged from that briefing expressing grave concern publicly that they believe that the administration is planning some kind of deployment of American boots on the ground in Iran. Take a listen to what Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat from Connecticut, who is not normally given to hyperbole, had to say when he came out of that briefing. And if you're watching this on camera, I mean, you can actually see the anger and the fury etched on his face after listening to what senior administration officials had told him.
I emerged from this briefing as dissatisfied and angry, frankly, as I have from any past briefing in my 15 years in the Senate. We seem to be on a path toward deploying American troops on the ground in Iran to accomplish any of the potential objectives here.
And now, there have been reports separate from that briefing by senior administration officials on Capitol Hill over the last few hours here, that there is consideration being given to sending American troops into Iran, boots on the ground, to try and retrieve some of Iran's stockpile of uranium. You remember the stockpile of uranium that the Trump administration claimed last July had been completely obliterated as a result of Operation Midnight Hammer. As for what is being considered with regard to boots on the ground, that, of course, came up during the White House briefing that was held a little bit earlier here, and here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt addressing it.
As for boots on the ground, the president has talked about this repeatedly. Wisely, he does not rule options out as commander-in-chief. So again, I would hesitate to confirm anything that a Democrat on Capitol Hill says right now about the president's thinking.
So taking a slam at the Democrats, but her boss, the president, is the man who just a few days ago told a New York Post reporter that he didn't have the yips about the possibility of putting boots on the ground, unlike previous presidents, by which he meant he wasn't scared of the idea of deploying American troops on the ground in Iran, which would, of course, represent considerable mission creep and put those forces at substantial risk. And talking about risk to American forces, during the course of that briefing, Caroline Leavitt disclosed some new numbers, saying that the ballpark number of American service personnel who have been injured in this conflict stands, she says, at around 140, with 8 of those people severely wounded. As we know, the current death toll stands at 8 members of the US Armed Forces. But none of this is going to come as any comfort to the families of military service personnel in the region, who themselves are asking in large numbers what the purpose of this mission really is all about, and how is President Trump going to avoid being drawn into exactly the kind of quagmire that he was elected in November of 2024 pledging to avoid.
Simon, thank you. That's Simon Marks, LBC's Washington correspondent.